Rocky's an alien from the 40 Eridani star system. I intended for people to like Rocky, of course, because he's the second most important character in the story, but I had no idea how overwhelmingly popular Rocky was going to be. People would send me fan mail saying like, hey Andy, I love the book, I love your stuff, I would die for Rocky. And then people halfway through the book say like, if anything happens to Rocky in the rest of this book, I will come to your home and kill you. And so just the joy and love that people have for Rocky really surprised me. I guess because it somehow, this was all unintentional. He's just such a good-hearted guy. He is just such a loyal and friendly person as a personality, as a soul goes. And I think also people in their mind almost equate him to being kind of like a very intelligent dog. And so all the love people have for dogs also ends up translating over to Rocky. So when I was creating Rocky, I started from the ground up, literally. I started from the planet. 40 Eridani does have a planet orbiting it, and for the 40 Eridani A-B, I think is what it's called, but it's the closest planet to the star. And so I started with that, and I said, okay, that's where this alien species is going to come from. I need there to be an active biosphere there. I need there to be liquid water. The only way to have liquid water that close to a star is to have a really, really thick atmosphere, so the boiling point of water is really high. Okay, so it's really hot, and there's a really thick atmosphere. Then I knew that. The only way you get to keep a really thick atmosphere if you're a planet really close to your star is by having a really, really powerful magnetic field. The way planets have magnetic fields is they spin. That's why Earth has a magnetic field. The faster you spin, the more powerful your magnetic field. So Erid spins really fast. It has a day that's about 6 hours long. That's what it needed to have a magnetic field that would protect that atmosphere. So now I know it has a short day. So bit by bit, these requirements came through on what the planet would have to be like to have liquid water and therefore life. And then I built up a biosphere from there. I said, well, sunlight's not even going to reach the surface, so how do I make it? How do I make that work? Well, it's kind of like an ocean and stuff like that. So basically, in the Carl Sagan kind of approach, before you can make a pie, you have to create the universe. And so Rocky came out of that. One benefit I had was I deliberately did not want it to be something that was compatible with Earth's environment. Rocky can't live in our atmosphere, Ryland can't live in his. And that's kind of the way it should be. It makes a lot of sense. It's like, why? I mean, there are species of animals on Earth that cannot coexist in each other's environment. There's nowhere you and a goldfish are both comfortable. So why would an alien species be comfortable in our environment? I was so stoked when I saw Rocky for the first time. They brought me into the creature shop that they had on the site at the studio, where they had multiple different Rockies for different scenarios. But you know, they showed me the models, and I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." People often ask me, "Oh, does Ryan look like Ryland did in your mind, or does Rocky look like Rocky did in your mind, or what about the ship or the sets or things like that?" And I always have to give the kind of unsatisfying answer is that I'm one of those people that just does not have a very visual imagination. For me, in my mind, when I'm writing a story, things are just sort of blobs. The characters are blobs. There's a male blob that's for Ryland, and then Rocky, I'd come up with his biology, but not the exact details of what he looked like in my mind. Didn't really know what Rocky's ship looked like, anything like that. So what's interesting is, unlike most authors, for me, when they make my book into a movie, I watch the movie and then my brain goes, oh, okay, so that's what he looks like, okay. And so it immediately becomes instantly canon. There's no cognitive dissonance there between what I imagined and what's on the screen. It's just, you know, I go like, oh, okay, so that's what the cockpit of the Hail Mary looks like. That's what Ryland looks like. That's what Rocky looks like. Yeah, sure, yeah. James did such a great job doing Rocky. Originally, as James is the head puppeteer of who we called the Rocketeers, the puppeteers who were doing Rocky. And he was doing the voice ostensibly as just a stand-in. Like he was saying the lines that Rocky had to say, and the plan was for us to get someone mega famous to go into a recording studio and record all of Rocky's lines. But then James did such a good job. Every time we watched the cut, we're like, this really works. And so we just stuck with James, which is great. He did such a great job. He really brings across Rocky's kind of combination of intellect and innocence, loyalty and happiness. I don't know. He just did a fantastic job. Just so unexpectedly good at that portrayal that we kept it.